Hello everyone, my name is Ivan Chong. I'm a grade 10 student taking an English 10 course in Oak Bay High School. My current unit is Shakespeare, and for the last couple of months I've been studying his life and his works. I'm currently doing Romeo and Juliet, and I have analyzed a passage from the play to describe and present to you here today. First of all, Shakespeare. Who was he and what did he do? Shakespeare was born in Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire. He was baptized on the 26th of April 1564 and died on the 23rd of April 1616. Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway when he was 18 and had 3 kids, Susanna and twins Hamlet and Judith. He was known as the Bard of Avon, England's national poet. His works collect up to 38 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long narrative poems. Shakespeare was a poet, but then later developed into a playwright, creating many works still famous today. Shakespeare's group of actors were named by King James as the King's Men, and held plays at the Royal Theatre and most often at Shakespeare's own theatre, the Globe Theatre. Shakespeare created famous plays like Hamlet, Midsummer's Night Dream, Twelfth Night, Othello, Macbeth, and one of his most recognized plays, Romeo and Juliet. Shakespeare produced most of his works between 1589 and 1613. Most of these works were comedies and histories. He then wrote most of his tragedies up until 1608. Though we really don't know exactly when he started writing, there's evidence of his works and writings going all the way back when he was performing on a London stage in 1592. Now onto the play Romeo and Juliet and the passage that I have studied. Romeo and Juliet is a tragic play, one of Shakespeare's finest. This play teaches us a message about forbidden love and ultimately the fact that any perfect plan can go horribly wrong. The passage I have studied in the play is the marriage of Romeo and Juliet. This passage is a significant part in the play because it reflects on the unstoppable love between Romeo and Juliet. Unfortunately, in the end, that compels them to both suicide after a series of misunderstandings and poor communication, as well as the risk posed by the feud between the Capulets and the Montagues. Without proper planning, and without considering future events, their road of love eventually leads them to despair. The passage described in this part of the play takes place on the whole of Act 2, Scene 6. During the section, the only characters are Romeo and Juliet and the friar. Friar acknowledges how this marriage is risky and dangerous, despite the possible chance that it may end the age-long feud, mentioned in Act 2, Scene 6, lines 1 and 2. This ties into the rest of the play because of the lasting effects of the feud. Romeo killing Tybalt, in which he then fears will destroy Juliet's love for him, and the annunciation of the new marriage of Juliet in Paris. Obviously, after marrying Romeo, Juliet is unwilling to marry Paris and receives the elixir from Friar. This is the first crisis that lights everything off. The marriage is the beginning of the downfall for Romeo and Juliet. Romeo begs Juliet to offer him all her love, and so this ties into the end of the play where Juliet keeps her promise to do so by dying right next to him. The balcony scene also ties into this because it's where they decide to get married. This passage reflects young, ambitious love that cannot be controlled. The themes described here are forbidden love, doing things without consideration, risk of conflict and consequence, and foolishness. Friar contributes to the theme by presenting good intentions, hope, and the fact that any perfect plan is still vulnerable to failure. Now for any literary devices. Lines 14 to 15 have a small rhyme scheme. Lines 9 to 10 has metaphors and uses similes. Line 27 uses personification, such as neighbor air and rich music's tongue. The marriage scene is extremely important. It is the result of the balcony scene, and it marks the start of the many downfalls coming afterwards leading towards the end. It also describes the love between Romeo and Juliet in further detail and even influences their choices later on in the story. The marriage theme is therefore extremely important. That is it for my Romeo and Juliet presentation. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope everything was clear. Have a good day.